The system wants you asleep. Your mind is the target. Your mission: wake up before it's too late. You feel it, don't you? That strange sense that something is deeply wrong with the world, yet no one around you seems to notice. People keep smiling, buying, sleeping, while a part of you screams for something greater, something the system is desperate to silence. Your mission is to awaken. But beware. Awakening is not beautiful, nor is it easy. It's painful. It's like tearing apart the veil of illusion and facing the raw truth, the one no one dares to see. If you choose to accept this mission, prepare to question everything you've ever believed to be real. The voices that control the rhythm of your life will try to silence you, and every choice from this moment forward will lead you closer to a point of no return. The clock is already ticking, and awakening waits for no one who fears the truth. Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? As if every step, every word, every decision was just an echo of something programmed long before you were aware of it? The world feels like a perfectly rehearsed stage, and you, the protagonist who never wrote their own script. That's where awakening begins, in the quiet discomfort between what you're told to be and what you feel you truly are. That crack in ordinary life, that suspicion that something hides beneath appearances, is the first sign that the system is losing control over you. The system is clever. It doesn't imprison you with bars, but with distractions. It offers comfort, instant pleasure, and the illusion of freedom while keeping you docile. And the worst part? It makes you believe that your sleep is a choice. You wake up, work, consume, sleep. A perfect cycle, designed so that you never ask who truly benefits from your exhaustion. It's so well crafted that it turns doubt into guilt. If you question, you're paranoid. If you feel too deeply, you're too sensitive. If you seek meaning, you're a rebel. But there's something different about you. You've noticed the noise between the lines, the emptiness in people's eyes, the sadness disguised as routine, the collective fear of stopping to think. The call doesn't come in a loud voice. It whispers like a glitch in the matrix, a break in the pattern, a flicker of lucidity in the repetition. And once you hear it, there's no turning back. Curiosity becomes necessity. Necessity becomes purpose, and purpose becomes mission. Awakening isn't a moment, it's a process. It's the collapse of everything you thought was stable. It's losing all that's false to rediscover what's real. At first, you'll resist. You'll crave the comfort of sleep, the warmth of normal. But normal is the most efficient prison ever built. And once you see the bars, they can never disappear. This is the first lesson. Awakening begins when you accept discomfort. It's the price of truth. Because truth doesn't comfort, it frees. And every liberation starts with a choice: to keep pretending everything's fine, or to step through the mirror and face what's behind it. If you accept, know this: the path ahead isn't safe, but it's real. The countdown has already begun. The system was built to look natural, inevitable, almost sacred. It teaches you from birth to obey without question, to compete without reason, to crave what you never needed. It seeps into every screen, every ad, every truth repeated until it becomes impossible to know where it began. It's an invisible prison designed to be comfortable. And the darkest part? Most people defend it with pride, believing that living inside it is freedom. When someone starts to awaken, the system reacts. It doesn't send soldiers, it sends distractions. Entertainment disguised as escape. Addictions disguised as joy. Fear disguised as caution. It makes you laugh when you should reflect, and run when you should stop. Every notification is a small electric jolt keeping you submissive, connected, tracked. Time, once yours, now belongs to it. You don't realize it, but you're constantly being programmed. What to consume, what to feel, what to hate. Everything is designed so you never have a moment to meet yourself. Those who awaken are called insane. Questioning has become modern heresy. To say something is wrong is to be negative, radical, alarmist. The system has engineered fear of thinking, and that's how it keeps billions trapped in a collective illusion. An emotional matrix where truth is treated like a virus to be erased. Have you noticed? Anyone who dares show another way is attacked, silenced, or mocked. That's the system's immune response, defending itself from the one who might expose its core. Yet cracks appear, brief moments of lucidity. When you look at the sky and sense there's something more than routine. When a deep silence calls you, and for a second, the world feels fake. That's your consciousness trying to rise. It's what the system fears most. An individual who begins to see. Because an awakened being is unpredictable. They don't obey. They create. They question. And by questioning, they ignite others. This is the second lesson. The system doesn't need to cage you if it can convince you never to leave. It makes you love the prison. It confuses safety with obedience, comfort with purpose. True awakening is realizing you were trained to sleep. But inside, you lives an ancient, untamed force that the system can never erase, and it's starting to wake up. Everything changes the moment you see the enemy within, because the system isn't just out there. It lives in your thoughts, shapes your desires, defines your fears. It hides in the voice that says, "You'll fail. You're not enough. Don't even try." That voice is the echo of conditioning, the invisible wall that stops you from acting. Awakening is realizing the real war was never between people, but between consciousness and numbness. The system fears introspection. It knows that when you silence the outer noise, truth begins to rise. That's why it keeps you busy, addicted to speed, afraid of stillness. Silence is its greatest threat, because in silence, you hear something it can't control. Your essence. And in that stillness, the first spark of rebellion appears. When you refuse to run without purpose. When you turn off the noise and listen to yourself. That single act is revolution. At first, rebellion feels lonely. You seem disconnected, speaking a forgotten language. People mock, doubt, or label you as strange. But that's natural. Awakening doesn't seek approval. It seeks truth. And truth almost always begins in isolation. It's in mental exile that the new self begins to form. Freedom isn't a destination, it's a discipline. Every conscious thought is a flame lit against the collective darkness. Over time, fear gives way to clarity. Doubt turns into strength. You realize you don't need to destroy the system, only stop feeding it. It lives on your attention, your energy, your belief. Every moment you choose awareness over distraction, you cut another string that holds you captive. That's the silent rebellion. Not fighting the world, but freeing yourself from it within. This is the third lesson. Awakening is a weaponless war, fought inside the mind. There are no external heroes or villains, only consciousness and forgetfulness. And whoever chooses to remember who they truly are, has already begun to win. The system will collapse not with screams, but with the silence of millions deciding to wake up, together. You believe you're in control, don't you? That your choices are yours, your thoughts are free, your desires self-made. But what if I told you most of it is a psychological simulation, perfectly designed? The system discovered something terrifyingly effective. You don't need to control people if you can control what they believe freedom is. It gives you a menu of options, but all lead to the same destination: obedience disguised as choice. You pick the flavor of your prison, but you remain locked in. The illusion of control is the oldest trick in power. It makes you think you're deciding when, in truth, you're reacting. What you buy, what you wear, what you dream of, even what you fear. All programmed by invisible algorithms studying you like a scientist observes a rat in a maze. They know what moves you, what enrages you, what keeps you scrolling. Every second you stay connected is another step deeper into the simulation. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. But the truth starts to shine when you see the pattern. When you realize free will has been replaced with free conditioning. You are free to choose, as long as you choose what keeps you predictable. Most find comfort in that. But the awakened begin to see the strings. They sense control disguised as progress, manipulation hidden in information, fear dressed as safety. And in that moment of awareness, the system trembles, because one individual who sees the illusion shatters the spell. To awaken is to see the control and refuse the role of puppet. To doubt the official truth, to question the numbers, to distrust the digital smiles, to realize that modern slavery no longer uses chains, it uses dopamine. The whip is gone, replaced by likes. The system doesn't command him, it suggests, and you obey, believing it was your idea. Today, rebellion isn't shouting, it's a thinking for yourself. This is the fourth lesson. The greatest prison is the one where the prisoner believes they are free. The system convinces you happiness is just ahead, in a new product, a new title, a new version of yourself. Yet the promise resets endlessly, never fulfilled. Only those who awaken understand that true control isn't about ruling the world, but freeing yourself from it. Because once the mind becomes free, the system ceases to exist. Now that you've come this far, there's no turning back. The gears once hidden in darkness are exposed, and the silence inside you speaks louder than any advertisement. Awakening isn't a mystical event. It's a daily, painful, solitary choice. It's seeing the lies dressed as progress, the smiles manufactured, the promises recycled for centuries. It's rejecting the role of spectator and reclaiming the role of creator. Because in the end, the matrix isn't just outside. It breathes within every automatic thought, every fear that keeps you still. To awaken is to unplug from the script and begin writing your own. But be warned, the system never sleeps. It mutates, adapts, slips back through the cracks of your mind. It will try to convince you awakening was just a phase, a passing crisis, a mirage of clarity. It will offer comfort, distraction, status, anything to lull you back to sleep. That's why true freedom requires vigilance. The awakened mind is a flame. If not nourished, it fades. But when cared for, it illuminates the path for others. You now belong to a silent minority that has begun to see the world as it truly is. It may scare you, isolate you, make you doubt. But remember, every great revolution begins with one individual who dared to open their eyes. Awakening is contagious, and the more who wake, the weaker the system becomes. Because its power was never real. It was only the reflection of our collective forgetting. When you awaken, it dissolves. This is the final lesson. Awakening is not the end. It's the beginning. It is the rebirth of the original human, free from invisible chains, aware of self and of all. The universe itself responds to those who choose to see. And now that you see, your mission is no longer to doubt, but to spread awareness. The system fears only one thing, the light that rises when a human being finally understands. There is no going back to sleep. Your mission was to awaken. And now, you have accepted it.